You rattle away. It's your show.
Yeah,
we should have some the numbers building up quickly now. We normally start just after 7.
Right. Yeah.
But well, we have 70 people in already. But I see you've been doing a couple of videos for the CPSA as well. I've been watching a couple of them today.
Yeah, we just did some off our own back, and the CPSA had pinched them basically. I didn't do them for them; they just nabbed them and stuck them on there, as they do. You know,
that doesn't sound like them at all. But
no, not at all, is it? You know,
we might as well get into it. So I think this is not like some of the people we have on from different disciplines. This is Alan Warren. I'll let Alan go through a bit of the stuff he's done, but he's been the head coach for the Commonwealth Games team twice for 2006, 2010. If your website's up to date, you've got 23 caps so far for England.
Yeah.
That's spread over 3 disciplines. That's skeet, Olympic skeet, and ball trap.
It is, yeah. Yeah, somebody bet me money that I couldn't get into the ball trap team.
So you had to go and prove them wrong.
So, yeah, that was an easy one.
If you, like I say, so you won your first tournament, mate, your first title tournament back in 1984 on the ZZ, and you've won the British Skeet as recently as 2011. So
actually, I won it last year.
I'm going to say I don't think that's up to date.
Yeah.
I remember reading that you won it last year.
Yeah, no, that's the bit that needs updating. I actually won it last year as well, so I've had it 3 times now.
So that's a long old career.
It's not bad, is it?
Well, it's as long as I've been alive by 6 years, so we'll go with it.
Oh, shut up. Thanks.
Right, mate, look, because I want to split this into 2 halves if we can. I want to get to know Alan Warren, the shooter, and then get to know Alan Warren, the coach. Now, as I'm quite vocal on every platform there's not many coaches I respect and think they do a good job. You know, we've had the conversation. I think you're one of them. So
yeah, thank you.
We can have a little bit of a chat about that. So talk to me about your career. How did you end up being the big skeet shooter? What led you into skeet?
Well, I was actually a trap shooter first. I don't know if you remember Pat Lynch.
Yeah.
Used to be the original owner of West Kent Shooting School. I was unwell, and basically Pat gave me my very first lesson.
Right.
I first went down the farm with an uncle, and at 75 shots, I hit 1 clay, and I thought, I can't do this. I'm going motorbike racing. And a girlfriend I had at the time bought me a lesson with Pat, and told me I've got to shoot in front of them. You know, with him sort of telling me 2 foot in front of this, 3 foot in front of that. All of a sudden, I hit 47 out of 50, or it was only singles on the skeet range, but that was it. I was away, you know. And I used to go up there and shoot a little bit of practice. Used to go up and shoot a little bit of practice, and did the little ploughing match. And go and have a go. And I loved it. And I shot trap for 3 years. You know, just ball trapping, universal training. There was nowhere to shoot Olympic trap down south with it at that time. You know, the nearest to us was Garland, which was a 4.5 hour drive.
Yeah, I was spin up there.
Yeah, and then I was unwell for 2 or 3 years. I actually had a stroke.
Yeah,
and couldn't go shooting. And then when I finally got back to shooting, I couldn't afford to go trap shooting. And so I borrowed a skeet gun, went down to Kingsferry, shot 97 and won 50 quid. Well, it was only 12 quid entry then. You know, so not only did I got my money back, I paid for the ammunition, and I could afford to go next week. And that's the way I got into skeet shooting. It was paying for itself, you know.
Yeah.
At the beginning of each season, I'd buy 500 cartridges. Everything else then would come out of prize money.
And just used to tick it over week by week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it used to pay for itself. I couldn't afford to practice it, so I just shot more and more competitions. I do 2 or 3 competitions in a weekend.
Yeah, I know you're a bit of a bandit. But how long before you shot your first 100?
Well, when I started shooting skeet, it was 2 years.
Is it?
No, more than that. It was 3 years, tell a lie. I started shooting skeet in '86, and I think I shot my first ton in '89.
And obviously that started leading into the majors. You're a force to be reckoned with from then. What kept your interest in skeet? Obviously, as a sporting shooter, I'm going to say, it's boring, it's this and it's this. But I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
But what kept you there?
Winning, I suppose. I mean, we all love our shooting, but we love winning more.
Correct.
That's the competitor in us.
Yeah. I don't know which major skeet shoot I've won. I've won one of them.
Did you?
Yeah, I won the English or the British at Doveridge.
I think it's probably the English. I'll have to go and check. I'll go and check the trophy in a minute if you like.
Yeah,
I've got the British, because if you're not on there, you'll be the other one.
Yeah, it's the guy. It was DP Wilson.
Oh, little Derek Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, and there was 8 of us in the shoot-off. Went 88 birds straight in the shoot-off, and I won it at Doveridge. I can't think of
what year was that?
I couldn't tell you. There was another guy, I think his name was Paul or something. I was in the shoot-off list. Everyone dropped out real fast with him, because there it was, we shot one round, then went to the middle peg.
Yeah.
So there was...
I mean, when I won it in '93, that was the first year we went from just doing round after round after round.
Yeah.
That was the first year. '93 was the first year we did 2 rounds and then to doubles on 4.
Yeah, that's what I.
And I think I ended up shooting. Yeah, and I think I shot 32 doubles. It got down to me and Mark Vesey in the end.
Yeah.
And I think it was 11 of us in that shoot off.
Yeah,
I mean, the last 2 I've been the only 100, so it's been easy.
Because it was mine was quite difficult, because in the shoot-off, for some reason, on my option bird on the first round, I put a shell in and I put it in the wrong barrel on my Krieghoff.
Yeah.
So I called Paul, click, nothing, click, bang, killed it. And they went to the jury saying it was a lot. Yeah, they went to the jury saying it was a loss. And, well, in the end, the jury said, well, if you shot the jury said to me, look, if you shot a brownie, you would have missed it. I said, well, if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. That's not, I don't shoot a brownie, I shoot a Krieghoff.
You shoot a Krieghoff, it's got a mechanical trigger on it.
Yeah, so in the end, they let me carry on, and I ended up winning it, which really pissed a few of them off. Craig Lake was in the shoot-off with me as well. But,
in that case, that would have been Doveridge. Yeah, that was Doveridge.
Yeah,
that would have been the English, I think. Yeah.
I don't know which one it was, but
I'll check the trophy in a bit.
There's going to be quite a few technical questions coming in.
Sure.
I've got some technical questions that have been sent in from Macon. Now, that's going to test your ability, because with the time difference, they might not get on. But what they want, so they shoot NASA skeet.
Yeah.
So one of the questions from a gentleman I've got on my phone now, he wants to know where his hold point should be on station 8, but remember that he's mounted.
Yeah, well, that's fairly straightforward. What I tend to do, if you put some sticks out and you start off, if you like to stay on station 2 and you put the hold point stick on the flight line, so level on the line between station 1 and the centre peg, if you put it out on that line parallel to the face of the trap house, if that's the face of the trap house there, like that, that wouldn't be parallel if it was in there. It needs to be parallel. That's more or less your first third. If you then go on to station 8 and see where that stick is, you want to be over that stick, and then you want to be more or less in the right place.
Perfect. So I can draw that for him, because he's He comes on every night.
Yeah.
He's a real gentleman of a fella, but he struggles on 8 because people have told him he should be here, he should be there, he should be there, he should be here, he should be here. So he just wanted to clear that up, and I said, look, the best you can do.
When I do shoot the NASA on station 8, I hold out to probably just outside of that first third, and up almost certainly halfway up the height of the hole, if not slightly higher. I don't like to see the gun below the hole because there's too much movement to lift the gun, because that target's climbing when it comes out. Yeah. So you better just have it up a little bit higher. So all you can do is move sideways a little bit, pull trigger.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to shoot straight at the pissing thing.
It ain't going anywhere. It's coming at you. It's a different target.
That's the gentleman that's just commented excellent there. That's the gentleman that sent me the message. Right. I'm
quite happy to go out there and teach them.
That's my gig. So we're going to get into your equipment and everything, Geordie, in a minute. But the first thing I want to touch with you, some people will know, some people won't know. Every night we talk about eye dominance on here. People have a question about eye dominance. And we all know, and the whole of the shooting world know, you must, if you want to be one of the best shots in your chosen bit discipline, you must shoot with 2 eyes open.
Well, I do that. I shoot with both eyes open.
Great, right. Now you tell the rest of the story.
Right, it might be both eyes open. My left one's a glass one.
And I love it when I read it online. When people say you can't shoot Skeet, you can't shoot Skeet or Sporting well if you close an eye. And the first thing I put, Alan Warren doesn't close one. He hasn't got one.
Yeah, you got these keyboard warriors that say, you can't shoot a shotgun with one eye. You've got to have both eyes open. Well, if you like, I'm living proof. And I know a few people that are quite good shooters with one eye, Actually, it's crap. You can. The one target, to be fair, if I have a problem, is a pheasant, believe it or not, coming straight at me, because I can't tell quite where it is.
Because it goes behind the barrel.
Yeah, and I'll lose sight of it. But that's the only one, because you haven't got that 3D vision. But other than that, I mean, all I do is I shoot the sky in front of the clay, in front of the target, and it seems to work.
I mean, the only time it'd be a problem if you ever had to mount 2 guns like this. That's the only time it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm fortunate. I'm right-eyed. Yeah, I'm right-eye and right-handed, so it didn't create any problems. So.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get that out there before we get going. We're not going to talk about eye dominance because now we've got living proof straight in front of us. The guy's been capped for England 23 times, won more majors than most people have attended, and he's only got one eye. So that's that done.
At the end of the day, to finish that off, if you like, the most important thing, whether it's one eye or both eyes, they've got to be looking at the bloody target when you pull the trigger. You can't look at the lead, you can't look at the gun, you've got to be focused on that clay.
You've got to understand
and be aware of the other bits.
Yeah, you've got to be aware of where that barrel is, otherwise you'll be fucked anyway. But right, yeah. The question that comes up all the time, there's a gentleman on here called David Jennings. So let's just, I don't want to go through 25 targets. Station 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only the high bird. Where should they be looking off each pen?
Where should they be looking?
Yeah, because we've had this conversation the other night, and I said, well, just hold on, because we're going to get somebody on that's going to tell us that he does it every day. Because all they say is, should I look...
Is it gun up or gun down?
Gun up, English Skeet, gun up. Should they look in the hole or should they be looking further out?
No, look further out.
Okay, there's that.
Wherever your hole point is, you don't really want to look any further than halfway between the gun and the trap house.
There you go.
You can do it on like high 5, high 6, because it's so far away. You'll see it early enough and focus on it. But high 2, high 3 particularly, you can't see it when it first leaves the hole, when it first leaves that machine. It's about 10 foot out the window before you actually see a whole clay. Yeah. So why try and look any closer? Otherwise, it'll just create you to push the gun away from the target.
Do you shoot visual lead, timing? How do you get through a round?
If you like, I shoot skeet, English skeet with lead. I see lead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm aware of lead. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's probably less measured now. I mean, when I first started shooting skeet, it was 2 foot here, 3 foot there, 4 foot there, then 3 foot, 2 foot, whatever. I don't do that anymore. I just simply shoot the sky in front of the clays, and it seems to work quite well. Let the shot string do the work.
This is the easiest question on English skeet. Peg 4, double. Which one first?
Whichever one. You've got to play the average. You've got to play the percentage game. Whichever one is the better second target, that's the one you go for second. If there's no point shooting the one that's falling on the floor quickly and trying to shoot that as a second target. You've got to play the percentages. Whichever one's going to give you the best chance of hitting the double.
So you have to master.
But the most important thing is, like any double. Absolutely. The biggest thing with any of the doubles is you can't hit 2 unless you hit the first one.
Exactly, yeah. You got to be confident in that first one.
Only then do you look for the second target.
We've been asked it twice already, so I'm going to ask it straight away, mate. Talk us through.
Yeah.
I know what you're using now, but talk me through your career of your guns. What did you start with to where you are now?
Okay, well, if we go right back to the first British Open in '93, that was with a Browning B1.
Yeah.
That I actually borrowed because my Perazzi I had broke the day before. The top lever shaft snapped.
Not like a Perazzi.
So I borrowed a guy named his name Steve Todd from Essex. I borrowed his 30-inch B1 and went and shot under straight and won the shoot off with it. He then lent me the same gun to shoot the home international with, and I shot the only 100 straight and won the home international in '93 as well. So I thought he's going to want his gun back, so I actually went out and bought one. I traded the Perazzi in with Chris Potter and bought a B1 Browning, had it T-choked. Switched over to Olympic ski at the same time, won the English Open, went to Greece, first time to go trying for the British team, won the Grand Prix of Europe out there, again with the 30-inch B1. I kept that for quite a while because every time I won with the Browning gave me another one. It was quite useful.
The old loyalty program, quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I won 2 guns in '93, 2 guns in '94, 1 in '95, 1 in '96. And pays for a lot of shooting at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they used to pay up too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And
then after the Browning, I mean, the only thing wrong with the B1 is I couldn't stop it going rusty. I only had to look at it; it would change colour.
Yeah.
So I kept one of the guns that I'd won. They were all sort of 325s, 425s. So I kept one of those, and then started shooting. When I came back to English ski, because I ran out of money at Olympic ski at the end of the day, there was no support like there is now. So I packed it in at '97. I just ran out of money. So I went back to English ski, and I started using the 425, and shot good scores with that. After the 425, I had actually got a Cayman, KM4, 31-inch Cayman.
Yeah, I remember you shooting a Cayman.
Yeah, I still got that. That's in the cupboard. I won't never sell it. I won the English Open with that in 2005. And then after that, I had what did I go to then? I was going to say I still got that, and I had a DT11, a 29-inch, one of the DT11 29-inch Skeet multi-chokes.
Yeah.
Great gun, very quick. And then went to Mid Wales to run the Olympic Skeet selection shoot for British shooting. And they had this gun sitting in the corner of the rack. And I'll be fair, I'm quite honest, I've never been a fan of Krieghoff. I hate the things. They've always been big, heavy, dead lumps. And I picked this thing up, and it just felt like a 20 gauge. And it was a 30-inch parkour, K80 parkour. And I mean, it's brilliant. I love it.
I know that's what you're shooting now, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting how many.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
It's quite interesting that you've been so successful with so many different brands that all handle completely differently.
Yeah.
How has your technique had to change? Did it change with the change of equipment?
No, not really. I mean, it probably slightly so with the DT11 because it was so fast moving.
Yeah.
That became much more instinctive, if you like.
Yeah.
But I never really won anything major with the DT11. To be fair, all my wins came with the longer barrel, slower handling gun.
Yeah.
A little bit more control.
What choke do you like to shoot at Skeet? That's just been asked.
Quarters, both barrels.
I'll read you the full question. What choke combination and cartridge combination in the early days did you use, and have you changed with time? So back in the early days, were you shooting 32 grams like most?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Used to shoot 32 gram, and then obviously 28 gram when we had to go to 28 gram.
Yeah.
And even now, given the choice, I would use 28 gram over a 24 gram, and purely because you can use 28 grams, so I might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we've got the same amount of lead in the air.
Well, people say to me when I go to America, why do you shoot the 32 grams? I say, because they won't let me shoot 36s. I'd shoot as much as I can.
Yeah, exactly right. But I shoot, at English Skeet, I shoot quarter chokes, both barrels. And my preference is 8s.
Okay, so you go a bit tight, so you're a bit tighter than most then?
Yeah.
But I suppose...
Yeah, if with me it's a psychological thing. It stops me being sloppy.
Yeah, I'm going to say, but that also means that you're confident in your ability. You know, some people try and fill the air because they think that's going to allow for one of their mistakes. You find that the winners, and you look at Vinnie Hancock, he runs tighter chokes than most in the Olympic ski because he's just confident in where he's going to put them.
Yeah, well, I think Vinny's shooting something like 1/2 and 3/4.
Yeah, he shoots the 1 and 2, so it depends how he patterns them in mullers, but he does change for the final for the flash clays. But
yeah, he puts more in for that. I mean, Ben Llewellyn, one of our top guys with the Zolly, he's shooting 1/2 and 1/2.
Well, you've got to be careful now with that reverse pair, haven't you? You've got to hit that second bird there.
It's all about putting the pellets on the pattern. What I found is, I mean, up to about 20 yards, there's not a lot of difference between a quarter and a skeet choke.
No, nothing's happened.
Once you get past 23 yards, there's a big difference in terms of pattern quality.
Yeah. But like people say to me, you look at the top shooters, he shoots 1/2 and 7.5, he's shooting 3. I said, well, I guarantee you, if you actually manage to get them all together, their patterns would be pretty much the same. They're just running different equipments. Yeah. You know, his 7.5 pattern's better with that gun. He's getting 8s with a pattern. You know, everybody's going to be getting roughly somewhere the same. It's just the difference.
Absolutely.
Between
it's finding the cartridge barrel combination that works for you.
100%. 100%. So, Karen, what shells do you shoot?
I'm Whole Cartridge Company.
That's why you have to
oh, you bitch.
That's why you shoot Skeet.
Yeah, righto, whatever. Yeah.
So there's a question here, and I agree with this question. Let's see what you say. What use are skeet chokes?
Good question. I mean, skeet chokes were great with the skeet choke, and again, bearing in mind now a lot of people are shooting steel shot.
Yeah.
With the amount of extra pellets you've got in that, you can get away with a skeet, because obviously with a skeet choke, that's probably throwing nearly a quarter choke pattern anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to say, that's what I'm saying.
With the steel shot through it. So, but still, the skeet choke with 32 gram was fine. It's like the old Tudor choke or retro choke They were designed for 32 gram fibres.
Yeah.
They don't work with the modern 24. There's just not enough. Yeah, exactly. There's too many holes in the pattern.
Yeah, just throw shit out like a blunderbuss.
Yeah, I mean, and skeet chokes are fine. Stations 1, 2, 3, probably 5, 6, and 7. Station 4, if you just go bang bang on the double, then it's probably not an issue. Like a lot of people sort of bang and pick the second one off,
Yeah.
you are going to run out of pattern. Sometimes you'll think, that should have broke. I didn't do anything wrong, and it just didn't break. That comes down to pattern quality. You lose pattern density very, very quickly with the Skeet chain on that second target.
Agreed. Thoughts on Hull Pro Piston 9s? That's a question for you.
Great cartridge, but I wouldn't use them through an overbore barrel like a DT11 or a 692. I mean, I put some. They sent me a slab down, and I'll probably get told off for saying this, but I tried a slab, and the amount of lead fouling I got through them wasn't worth it. Yeah. I mean, they work fine. Nothing wrong with the cartridge. And I've got some students that use them all the time through standard barrels.
I'm going to say it's exactly what we said earlier. It's what's good. Pick up a different gun and you might get totally different results.
Yeah, but it's truly because with the high-tech Paratzes, the DT11s or the 692s, the barrels were so overboard. There's a lot of heat getting in there because with that short piston wad, there's a lot of lead fouling comes out of the barrel. I mean, literally after 100 shots, then I've got lead strips hanging off the inside of the barrel. But they're a great shell through the right gun.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm only winding up about Hull. I've actually shot some of them Pro Pistons, and I was quite impressed at what they did at range too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got no problem with them whatsoever. A question from young Reese: which brand of Hull do you shoot?
I practice normally with the Intercom, and I shoot the opens and the big shoots. I'll shoot with Pro ones.
Okay, cool. That's quite a common. It's quite a lot of their better shooters choose the Pro one over the big hard hitting stuff, don't they? You tend to see quite a big pattern there.
Yeah, the trouble is, I mean, I could use sovereigns. They just cost more and get more recoil. Yeah. At Skeet ranges, it's a waste. I can understand you get that little bit of higher velocity at the extra range at sporting, but at Skeet ranges, you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. Wrapping up your career, most memorable win. And when I say most memorable win, I word that wrong because to me, some of my most memorable performances I didn't win. So give me your most memorable gold and your most memorable shoot.
Ooh. Probably my most memorable, my most memorable shoot. That's going to sound rotten, but I was going through a really messy divorce at the time, and I went to Bisley to shoot the selection. No, nothing like that. But I actually went to Bisley, and I shot 200 straight, and that was a tough weekend.
Yeah.
That was a tough weekend, yeah. And that would have been I think that was 2006. So that was that one I had to battle for. There was another occasion when my partner Katie, her son got rushed into hospital with appendicitis on the Friday before selection shoot at Nottingham. So I didn't get up to Nottingham. Well, I wasn't going to go, but she insisted I went. I got up to Nottingham 11 o'clock on the Friday night, straight into a travel lodge with a bit of cold chicken, and again I shot 200 straight. So that was good. All the British Opens. I mean, the most memorable one really probably is the Centennial one in 92.
Yeah.
We were shooting off almost in the dark, and it was the moisture was coming, and every time I breathed out, my glasses misted out, so I had to keep taking them off and wiping them off.
At least you've only got a white one. At least you've only got to wipe one side, though.
Well, that's the thing. Anybody picks up my glass, I say, "God, how can you see through those?" Well, I don't bother. I only don't clean that side because I don't use it.
So I'm going to try. Dave, that's a great question there, but I'm going to try and reword it. So, because it's put, do you have a competitor you feared? Well, to win as much as you have, and the same as I have, you don't fear anybody. That's simple.
No.
But I'm going to reword it from my perspective. So people ask me all the time, who would you fear? And my answer to that has always been the same. I don't fear anybody, but in a shoot-off, Falsey is a killer. To beat Richard in a shoot-off, you've got to be on your mettle.
Yeah.
What do you have anybody? Do you have anybody in the Skeet world that you would think of like I think of Richard?
Yeah, but there's a few. I mean, you got, I mean, Gary Cook's on fire the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The trouble is with shoot-offs, it's an anybody's game. I mean, on the day, they're all as good as each other.
Correct.
You know, we all shot the same score to get into that shoot-off. So therefore, we're all as good as each other on that day. It all comes down to, if you're worrying about what the next guy's doing, you're going to lose.
Yeah, correct.
It's one, as you know, in your sport, in your discipline, if you don't miss, you can't lose.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can focus on is your target.
The best form of defence is attack.
Yeah. Just keep breaking your targets.
But you've got...
But no, there's nobody...
Carry on, mate.
Go on.
I'm going to say, in your
there's
career...
nobody that you could say... Shut up a minute.
Yeah, there's just a bit of a delay. Go on, crack on.
Yeah, I'm on the shit end of the pipe here. There's nobody you can really say you fear. I mean, any of the opens, any of the big shoots, you can guarantee it's going to be one of, or half a dozen of probably 10 people that are going to be in those shoot-offs anyway. You know, people say Skeet's easy, but there's not many people that are regularly shooting 100 straights. There's only probably half a dozen people out there that actually shoot 100 straight on a regular basis.
But you've been through some serious competitors in your career, George, Martin Elworthy, Mark Vesey. You know, you've had some big sporting names that started with you and then left. You know, Elworthy could shoot them skeet birds. Oh
yeah, Elworthy always won the English Open. Harbison always used to win the British Open. I think it was that way round, or was it? No. Yeah, I think it was. Oh no, actually it was the other way round. I think Elworthy won the British and Harbison, because Harbison at the British always seemed to miss high one, first one out, and then shoot 99. But yeah, no, Martin was a pain in the arse on the skeet range.
Yeah, he was a machine. There's a nice comment.
He just made it look easy.
A nice comment there from Natasha Heading, Aaron's wife. Commonwealth Games. Alan was the team manager for the most successful England team there ever was. We're going to get into his coaching career in a minute. So, is there anything is there anything that you would like to add to the competitive side before we hit the coaching side, mate?
Only in terms of the only reason I honestly believe the reason I got so good, if you like to sound big-headed, and competitive was the fact I didn't do a lot of practice. My practice was the competition, and the competition was the practice. Yeah. And I'm convinced that gave me a better head for competition.
Right, and we had exactly that from Michael Diamond the other day. Diamond said exactly the same thing.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people on their skeet ranges. I see it day in, day out. They can go out on the practice day and shoot 100 straight, 100 straight, 100 straight. They go out the competition, 95.
Well, I'll tell you who I booked into the other day. That totally fits that bill for you as well. This is not going to mean anything to the people watching, but Terry King. I saw Terry the other day.
Oh yeah, another one-eyed shooter.
Yeah, but another high 199.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good down the line shooter too in his day.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's just an all-round great guy. Right, so let's leave that behind. Now we're going to get into the part that I want to get into. So let's start with the two Com games. You obviously led England into two Commonwealth Games as the head coach. How did that role become around?
The CPSA advertised the role and I thought I'll give it a go. You know, I was coaching and I was lucky enough to be taken on the job. Obviously, I did the interview and everything else, and away we go.
So what was the criteria? What was the questions in there? Because with some of the people that I see as the British team managers, some of the qualifications must just be breathing.
I can't possibly comment. Well, the criteria was basically, do you have any idea what you're doing? I mean, the first one, in 2006, the CPSA had got an Estonian guy on board as well called Peter Pack.
Yeah, I know Peter.
Which caused us a lot of grief, actually, not from Peter's point of view, but the fact that people didn't want to work with Peter just at that point because they got to this point without it. Yeah. You know, and to be fair, I learnt a lot from it going into 2010 because what we did for 2010 was just create a happy team. I let them still work with their own coaches. I'm not going to go in there and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, and it worked a treat for 2010, as you know. But in terms of criteria, it was a case of what can you do, what can you bring to the table, you know, what experience have you got, what qualifications you got. At that time I'd just done my ISSF qualifications, so everything sort of fell into place at the right time.
On coaching, I've never coached a team like that where I'm a coach and not a competitor. So I coached the Jamaican team to their 4th place at the World Championship, and I was a competitor. So it's very different. As a still very, very competitive shooter, what's it like to sit back and watch somebody else do it? So I do it with rugby, where I coach a team and I sit back and it kills you. I can't do it.
Can you imagine what 2010 was like? I mean, people say you look like an expectant father. Jesus Christ, I must have been having sextuplets, I tell you. I mean, it was bad enough when we got the first gold medal. Every day was another gold medal, basically, or every event, it just kept coming. And it just got worse and worse and worse. I think probably the one who gave me the biggest heart attack was Aaron.
We've got Aaron on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, me and Aaron get on like house on fire. Fantastic kid. But I mean, he missed his first target out, and you just think, what are you doing? He shot his rifle shooting them, and all of a sudden he just fell into a routine where he's just picking them off, And there was one that really sticks in my mind. It was a sharp right-hander, and and I'm like, inside him, he's going, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, and then he smoked it. He just smoked it. He turned it inside out, But I mean, the nicest thing about those games was actually Aaron, because I was the first one to him on the range, obviously, when he'd finished the shoot-off. I mean, Michael tapped him on the shoulder. Michael Diamond tapped him on the shoulder and sort of congratulated him, and I arrived, and the first thing Aaron said to me, the words were, thank you. I mean, that meant so much, because all I could do as team manager and coach was to try and be there and support them more than anything else. I'm not there to teach them to shoot. That's not what I'm here for.
You're putting the nuts and bolts in place to make them 4 rounds or 3 rounds, whatever it's going to be, easier.
Yeah, it's just to make sure they've got everything they need. They know where they are, what they've got to be doing, where they've got to be. And if they need anything, then let me know. It's just, that's how all I try to do is what I would like as a competitor. If someone was trying to look after me, that was all.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, that's good, because we can talk to Aaron about that as well on Thursday. So, coaching. Let's talk about it. My passion is coaching. You know how outspoken when people point blank lie.
Yeah.
And I know you're.
You and me both. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to say you're very passionate about it as well. So, what's your how do I word it properly? How do you teach? What's your fundamentals so I teach sporting, I put fundamentals in place for everybody, and then I divert for that person.
Yes. At the end of the day, it's exactly the same. No matter what method you use, whether it's swing through, pull away, maintain lead, the basic fundamentals are the same. The footwork, the hold points, the movement is exactly the same. The bit after that is how you see the target, how you are aware of the gun and the lead that you think you see. That's a different thing, and then that is tailored to the individuals.
That's correct. That's how I do it anyway.
I'm exactly the same. I'm not there to make them all shoot one particular method.
You can't. This is what I say. I'm 6'5", 20 stone. If a 5-foot guy and 11 stone comes to me for a lesson, I try and turn him into me. That's just going to be a failure.
Yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't work. And for me, I see a lot of short guys shooting very long guns.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And you have to think, why? Yeah. There's so much weight out the front, and then they can't stop the damn things.
Correct.
I'm all about... it's a case of I'm all about improving what someone's doing and making better what they know best. If you've got a literally blank sheet, blank canvas, blank novice, then you can make him shoot how you want him to shoot.
Yeah.
You can turn him into a mini-me, but they don't come along very often. You'll normally get someone who's been shooting for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, wants to improve. They've already developed some sort of technique or a method. So all we can do is improve it, unless it's wildly wrong and completely arse about face them. What we've got to do is actually show them the tools to improve what they're doing.
So I get asked this all the time in sporting. It's quite easy. What would you say on a skeet field for the audience watching now? What would be the 3 most common faults that you come across?
Footwork, hold point, sight point.
Okay, good. Yeah. Do you tend to see?
That's the 3.
Do you tend to see a pattern in them in what are wrong?
Absolutely. Yeah. There is a 4th one in terms of the double on 4, which is they sometimes try and shoot the first target too early and end up looking in the wrong place for the second target with a dead gun.
Yeah, you end up getting there too quick, aren't you?
But the main one is footwork, hold point, sight point.
So it's pretty much the same as sporting.
Absolutely, it's very similar. Very similar.
I come across the same problems in sporting. So I'm going to ask you a question now. We're going to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Now I'm talking sporting. I do some skeet lessons in Northern Ireland. I've got a young kid out there, Josh Edgar, who's just made the Irish team. But in sporting, and I will stand by this until the day I die, if your average is 60, you cannot teach me to be an 80% shooter.
Not overnight, no.
I just don't think you can. Now, skeet might be different, but in sporting, if you've got a 45-yard semi-quartering battue and you don't know how to hit it, you can't tell me how to hit it.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. You know, if you can't hit it yourself, how can you show something? You don't know how to hit that. I mean, I had a guy at Dartford before the lockdown, actually. They got a long looping target out there, and that was probably, 60, 70 yard out. And in the end, he gave me he's got this Caesar Guarini with a raised rib on it. He said, well, you show me. I thought, oh, shit. Okay, boom, bang, buff. And he went, oh, you can shoot then. It's just, you have to be able to do it. You've got to sometimes have to be able to demonstrate it. You know, people say you don't have to be a good shooter to be a good coach, but it does help if you can do it.
You have to. Now, people always come across to me and say, but in golf, the best coaches are not players. But that's golf.
But they were players. They just weren't top players.
Yeah, but people say, well, Butch Harmon, he was a scratch golfer. He hit the ball straight.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. They've spent billions of pounds creating coaches. And golf,
yes,
I love golf, but golf is simple biomechanics. This plate has got to be this angle when it hits that ball. Anybody can do that.
It's all about at the point of impact, isn't it?
But with shooting, you've got 2 moving objects that have got to meet at a certain point in time, and you've got to know how to make that happen. You cannot teach that if you don't know it.
No, it's about the feeling of it.
Yeah, you can't. And especially, I think more so, I know you do a lot of international lessons yourself. Sometimes when there's a language barrier, you have to show.
Yeah.
Once you've tried to say the same thing in 3 different ways and they've still not got it, it's now got to come down to a demonstration.
I mean, I had a tough one that I went out to Uzbekistan for the ISSF to run what they call a solidarity coaches course. And basically it was to teach their coaches how to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, and I had to do everything through an interpreter.
I do that in Russia.
And in the end, I had to take them out onto the range and show them the difference of what we were talking about between a close hold point and a wider hold point, and the difference that made to the movement.
The problem with interpreters is, and what I've found with interpreters, if they're not shooters, they interpret to the letter of the dictionary, then the sentences don't mean anything anymore.
We have a few of those moments.
You do get lost in translation because they're too good. They're too good at translating, and they don't translate shooting terms. They translate dictionary terms, and all of it.
It's a very direct translation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was an interesting 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I to be honest, I thrive on that challenge.
Yep. Me too. I love it.
I enjoy that side of things. I've had this conversation quite a lot online, and so the other day I did a video on YouTube that I said, if you're on a lesson and the person that you're paying for a lesson is telling you where you're missing, all you've got is an expensive button pusher.
Yeah, you need to know why.
Yeah, and 5 people, coaches, some of them have got titles, phoned my sponsors and said, can you ask him to stop because he's costing me business? And I said, well, then he must believe that what I said is true. He must fall into that category and know that he does.
At the end of the day, if you're costing somebody else business, it means you're doing something right, because people are obviously listening and getting results.
Yeah, but if you sat there and said, right, if you tell people where they're missing, you're an expensive button pusher, and I go, oh my God, that's going to cost me business, then I must fall under that umbrella. Because I'd sit there and go, that ain't me. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'd lack it off.
But at the end of the day, there are a million people out there can tell me that I'm either over it, under it, in front of it, behind it, or whatever. What they need to know is, why was I behind it? Why was I in front of it?
100%.
And that's the difficult bit. That's the bit that people don't seem to realise.
When you come for a lesson,
it's a big question. Why?
We're going to work on the process, not the outcome. The outcome is what you're going to go away with and fix yourself.
Yes, exactly right.
Even as long as you've been in the sport now. So, this is what I love about Alan Warren, Barry Simpson, John Bidwell, the guys that have gone through all of the technical changes, the rule changes, equipment changes, and still been able to win. What has evolved in Alan Warren, the shooter and the coach, compared to 1984?
Probably confidence. I shoot better now than I ever did.
Right.
Self-belief, if you like.
Yep.
Right now, I don't doubt myself. And I won the British Open last year. I actually told people the week before that if I went and did it, I was going to win it. Which some people remember, some don't. But because I got a bollocking off my girlfriend, off Katie, because she said to me on the Saturday morning, she said, you've got to stop telling people you're going to go there and shoot on straight, because if you don't, you're going to look a right twat. I said, look, and it was one of those strange moments where I actually said to her, I actually knew, there was absolutely no doubt in my mind whatsoever that I was going to go there and shoot 100 straight. I said, if there's a shoot-off, that's in the lap of the gods, that'll be how it ends up. But I knew that I was going to go there and shoot 100 straight without question. It was just one of those really surreal moments. And I can't explain what made that one different to any of the others.
No,
apart from that confidence.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes a champion a champion, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think also it helps, having won so much in the past. If you like, I've got nothing left to prove on a skeet range, so there's no real pressure. If I win, I win. If I don't, okay, I'm getting old. So there's nothing left to prove.
You've won enough that you're going to stand the test of time anyway. But this sort of comes under technical and coaching hat. Why is there very, very few? And when I say few, I can only think of the likes of yourself, Lakey, Bramley, in the modern era, that can shoot both Olympic and English.
Yeah.
What's
the key to shooting both is to make sure you shoot the targets in the same place, whether it's low 6 at English skeet or low 6 at Olympic skeet. Right. If you shoot them in the same place, because they both still cross that centre peg at the same time. The fact that one arrives there quicker than the other is irrelevant. They both travel at the same time, each discipline. They both cross that crossing point at the same moment. So providing you shoot the targets in the same place, the movement is the same, the timing is the same. It's about having that control. The problem you have with Olympic ski shooters trying to shoot English ski is they can shoot the first target so ridiculously fast, they're now dead in the air waiting for the second one to arrive. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, it's so rare that you watch people that can transfer from one to the other. And that's, like I say, I was thinking about it
Yeah.
today, and they're about the only three that I could think of the modern era from England that have actually successfully competed at a high level at both.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Also, there's a bit of a stigma comes from, again, the hierarchy, if you like, of GB shooting, where once you get into that international discipline, you know, what do you want to go and shoot that sissy skeet for? Why do you want to go and shoot that? It's a lesser game, you know. But the thing is, I mean, okay, to get into a GB team is a tough thing to do anyway. You know, especially now, the standard is so high now overseas, and the standard here is getting better and better and better. But I mean, when I first got my GB badge, I probably had to shoot against 70 people.
Yeah.
When I first got my first English Skeet England team badge, I was probably in reality shooting against 200, 250 people in a selection shoot.
Yeah, that makes sense. So here's the question. I'll answer this one. Geordie, so a coach needs to have a background of a pro shooter, yes or no? No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is, if you want to become a champion, you've got to go to a champion. If you want to go and become, all I believe, if you want to learn something, it depends on where you want to be. A level one shit instructor's got a place. He has a place within our sport for beginners, corporate days. He's just got to be honest and know when it's time to pass that person on to the next.
Exactly right, 100% right. That's exactly what I was just going to say. It's a case of each coach at each level has to understand their own limitations. When they get to a point where they just think, right, I can't help you anymore. You need to move up to the next level, if you like. There are some out there that treat their clients. Yes, there are people out there that like to use them as cash cows, you know, and they just want to keep feeding them bullshit and then start making changes just for change's sake, you know, to keep them coming back.
Correct, 100%.
Or you've got to have a course of 10 lessons.
Yeah, and that's what I say. These people say, "Oh, you're saying I'm not." No, you've got a place. Just stay in your lane.
Yeah,
you know that's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
How long before women can match men's scores consistently in skeet? Well, in Olympic skeet, they put that to bed in the 2000 when she won the Olympics, and they stopped them shooting together.
Yeah, they didn't stop. To be fair, they didn't stop them because a woman won. The decision had been made the year before, but they can't make a rule change until after that Olympics has gone through. That was Zhang Chang shot the 200 straight. But there is no physical reason why women can't compete with men. I mean, we're getting it now. I mean, you know, don't forget Megan Jones won the British Open a few years back, shot 100 straight and then won the shoot-off. And, you know, she was a youngster. It comes down to, you don't see women winning as often because there's not as many of them shooting, I'm sure. It comes down to how many are actually playing the game.
If you've got 100 men and 3 women, it's not that the women are not good, it's just you've got so many.
The odds are against it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, the odds are against it. There's no physical reason, especially in English skeet, why a woman can't compete with a man. Absolutely none.
No, agreed. What I would say on what we just spoke about on coaches, what I would say, if you're a B-class shooter or a C-class shooter that wants to become, and you're going to take lessons for the next 3 years or so, you must research your coaches. So if you say, right, in sporting, say, or say, let's pick Skeet because you're on. Right, I'm going to go to this guy first, but then when I'm good enough, I'm going to go to Alan Warren. This guy here has got to teach the same as Alan Warren.
Ideally, yes. Yeah, this is also an issue.
What you don't want to do is go over here, and then you go up here and he says, right, we're going to stop all this. I mean, you know, there needs to be some kind of similarity of what you're going to be doing.
Particularly with the basics.
Yeah, correct, 100%. Otherwise,
as long as you've got the basics are the same, then you've got a chance.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, that's... I get so many people say, oh, I was going to come to you, but I just took 10 lessons with this guy, and I'm like, yeah, but now I've got to spend 2 lessons breaking you again. Instead of...
Yeah, I've had... I've actually had people say they've actually contacted. I'd like to come to you for a lesson, but I don't think I'm good enough yet.
Yeah. No, now's come.
Exactly.
Now's the time to come. Now's the time to come. Alan, are you okay for time? Because this is brilliant. We've got over 140.
Yeah, no, I'm fine, mate. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to end it and bring it back on because it's going to end in 2 minutes and then we'll start again.
Okay.
All right, mate.
All right, see you in a bit.
Look how crazy I come, and I'm marching on to the beat of drum. What's this? It's all over here.
I know.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think it's because we're streaming a movie in the front room. I've just turned the Wi-Fi off and just gone to 4G. That's perfect now. So
Right.
So one of the questions that we get asked all the time, and everybody wants to know about, pre-shot routine.
Yeah.
Does yours change from Olympic skeet to English skeet? Do you mind going into yours and how you focus?
No, it's pretty much the same actually. Normally, I sort of start to build up before it's my turn to take up the stand. So I normally hesitate just before I take that final step on.
Right.
That's when I'm 100%. When I take that foot, as I step on, I'm 100%. Shoot the targets, and I'm normally 2 or 3 steps out before I then come down again. You know, I don't try and concentrate for the whole half an hour, 20 minutes, depending on what discipline it is, because you can't. You know, you've got to come up and down.
You just burn out. What sort of, when you say you're at 100%, what are you running in your head? What are you 100% of?
Literally just running through your head where I'm going to shoot the target. It's not how, just where.
Yeah. Because the how you've done in training, that's muscle memory, I guess.
Exactly that, yeah. The trouble is, if you start trying to think about the technical part of how to do it while you're trying to do it, it becomes a complete screw-up.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to stay in the moment and understand what's going to go wrong.
No.
Have you ever gone through... This is, I think, when we get somebody that's actually very good at coaching on, I'd like to go into how they've gone through the changes. So it's very easy, I find, as an instructor and shooter on these podcasts to tell people what you do. That's great. That's a cheap fix. That's not going to help anybody.
No, because what I do is different to what you do.
Yeah, but when you go out there, what I do find interesting, and when people can talk about it, when they've got a fundamental basis and can break their own shooting down, when you've had a problem with a target, just say, for instance, you've had a problem, what would be now? If people didn't have problems, they wouldn't be watching us; they'd be doing one. So everyone on here has got problems that they want to understand and how to fix.
Yeah.
On a skeet field, what should be? So I work backwards. If you had a problem, what would you go and how would you strip yourself back?
It literally is that. You almost reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
You start off from where are you actually hitting it, where do you want to hit it, where are you starting, and where are you standing. You know, all of those factors will come into it. So you literally almost reverse engineer it and deconstruct it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just in a lesson you're going to learn the processes. When you're not on a lesson, you've got to start at the end and work back and find out which one of them is letting you down.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, when you make a change, even on a competition round, if you make a change to your hold point, because the light changes, you can't see the target in the right place or whatever, any change you make is minuscule. It literally is. On your hold point, it's like 2 inches. It's not 3 feet, either way. You don't make big changes. It's minuscule things make a big difference.
Did you have a target that that you struggled with?
Yeah, low 5. I hated low 5.
Where do you miss it?
Where did I miss it? All over the bloody country.
No, I mean in front, behind, I know. Where did you miss it?
Oh, normally behind.
Really?
Behind. Yeah, I mean, Olympic skeet, when we used to shoot a high five single, I hated high five single at Olympic skeet. In fact, it was because of high five single that I went back to a longer barrel for Olympic skeet.
Right.
Because at the time I had a DT10 skeet gun and we had a 200 bird selection shoot at South Wales 2000, and the whole weekend I never touched one. Not a single or the second bird of the double.
So you got that with a Nerf gun?
Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, it was just stupid. And I went back to that's when I got the Cayman back out, and I could hit it with that. You know, it's just strange things. Have more control. Those are the only really two targets. To be fair, just to finish your question, I mean, when I first started shooting skeet, I used to be terrified of low bird first on the double, on four. Yeah. On station 4, because I'd shoot the first one, and to me, the second one was coming out of my blind spot.
Yeah, because you can't see that side. Got it.
Yeah, but that was in 91, and then going into 92, I thought, oh, this is stupid. You know, the 2 years previous, I'd shot 4 tons in both years. And in 92, I made the decision that I'm going to learn how to shoot this. So whenever I get a chance, I'm going to make myself shoot low bird first, because it suddenly dawned on me, I was actually shooting the first one too early.
Right.
Because I've got no choice but to wait in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So then I was more what I tend to call positional shooting on that first target. Shoot that first one, 100% effort, and that first target in the right place, and where you stop is where the second target is.
Yeah.
That year I shot 2100 straights.
Wow.
You know, that was the difference it made.
Yeah, huge.
You know, yeah, it was a huge difference, you know, and that to me was how I learned how important the technical stuff is.
When I won the English Skeet or whatever it was, I remember getting round to peg 6 on my last round, straight, and I just kept saying to myself, don't miss the low bird.
Yeah, that's a cock up doing that, isn't it?
But I said to myself, don't miss the low bird, don't miss the low bird, don't miss the low bird. I put 2 shells in for the single, completely forgot to go for the high bird, put the gun on the lighthouse, where Paul, nothing came. I picked my head up to look for the ref, saw the high house coming, and shot it. But the whole squad thought I was taking the piss. No, I just talked myself into a bird and couldn't get. Yeah. And I forgot that the other one was even couldn't come.
Forgot the other one. Yeah, exactly right. And you know, this is something I'm quite big on. It's a case of I don't want you to tell yourself what you mustn't do. You got to tell yourself what you are going to do.
Yeah, and that's what I do now. I don't even bring them negative thoughts into it.
Otherwise, it's like saying, "Don't touch the red button," isn't it? You know, you can't help yourself.
How many tons have you shot? Do you know?
Oh no, it's over 400, but I lost count.
Yeah, you see, a lot of. I'm going to let you answer this because I'm going to try and keep the show diplomatic. Any thoughts on Chris Barther's skeet shooting video?
Yeah, enjoy. If it helps you, great.
Let's move on.
If it helps them, great. Don't carry on. But yeah,
keeps the kids away from the fire.
Yeah.
Do you agree with high 2 being difficult for right-handed shooters and low 6 for the left-handed shooters?
High 2 possibly less so than for right-handed than low 6 for left-handed, because the angles are different.
Yeah.
Because low 6 starts 3/4 of a metre further out. It actually flies on a flatter plane than what high 2 does.
Yeah.
So the low 6 is more of a crossing target for a left-handed shooter.
Yeah,
high 2 mainly is because people try and shoot it too bloody fast.
Yeah.
They panic. There's no need to. The second target is only ever getting closer. Why do we need to rush?
Yeah, they ain't the one to worry about.
No. But most people miss high 2 because they've pulled the trigger before it's even got halfway to the centre peg. Instead of just making sure they've seen the thing, they're trying to shoot the flash.
Yeah, shoot the blur.
They're trying to shoot the blur rather than shoot a whole clay.
Hi, Alan. Do you find it encouraging that more juniors are shooting skeet as a discipline? From young Sonny.
Yeah, that'd be Sonny Bowman, I should think. Yeah. Yes, I do. We need more. You know, because at the end of the day, these youngsters are the future of the sport. No matter what discipline they take up, they are the future of the sport.
Yeah, agreed. Olympic Games, mate. I can't see us going through many more cycles with clay targets at them.
I think we probably got 3 more.
That's one more than I said.
Yeah, I think we got 3 more. Well, we got France is the next one, isn't it? After this one, after Japan, they'll definitely have it. I can't remember where it is after that.
It's not been decided yet. Not been decided.
No,
yet.
no. It comes then down to the host nations.
Yeah.
What they want, but I think probably 3 more because countries like India will push for it.
Well, that's what I was going to come. That's what I was going to come to next. With the Com Games and the involvement you've had, how disappointed were you that shooting's not at Birmingham?
Oh, it's a major disappointment. The problem is my understanding of it is it was Liverpool's bid originally.
Yeah.
And Liverpool hadn't got it in their bid because they got nowhere to do it. Because then they handed all the paperwork over to Birmingham and they just run with it and no one really checked it out from what I understand until it was too late. But of course they could do it at Bisley. They could do the shooting at Bisley quite easily.
Well, they did when it was at Manchester.
Exactly. So it's closer to Birmingham than it is bloody Manchester. And yet they managed it then. But the Birmingham's view is there's no financial benefit as a legacy to Birmingham by doing it outside of the town. So they're not going to do it. And that's a huge disappointment. So it's a crazy short-sighted view.
When we had the Olympic, the next, it's Tokyo, Paris, then it's Los Angeles again for the Olympics.
Oh yeah, see they'll have shooting in it, certainly.
Yeah, they've gone mad.
Yeah.
Well, look, when we had the Olympics here, we did the pistol shooting on the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
You know, because we couldn't hold it here, so there's no problem. They're just making up excuses.
Yeah, they're just. I think it's more of a political thing than anything else. You know, they just can't be asked. You know, they could do it quite easily. At Bisley. You know, he would run. You know, like you say, it was good enough for the Manchester games. It should be good enough for the Brummie games.
You know, with a little bit, and I know the ISSF was offered to pay. It wouldn't take that much to really spend a bit of money and upgrade garlands.
No,
the facilities are there. They just need traps and some work.
Yeah, it just needs a bit of tidying up and some work, overhauling the traps, you know, and it wouldn't take much at all. It's certainly a lot less than building new layouts elsewhere and then ripping it all out again.
Correct, 100%.
You know, I think it's a crazy move, you know, and I think, you know, they're putting up this alternative event, which is now going to be technically count as a Commonwealth Games, which they're going to do in India.
Yeah.
Because countries like India, it's their only chances of winning medals. You know, they're very good at the pistols and the rifle stuff, particularly pistol shooting, air pistol and small bore.
But I have a text today that says it does look like they are going to put double trap in India for the Com Games.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You know, they've got a couple of shooters out there that can shoot double trap. Doesn't surprise me at all.
2 belters.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you as a coach from Ziggy. I get on the stand and I say to myself, I'm going to do A, B and C. I come off the stand and I realise I didn't do any of it. Is this common? is this common and how do I fix it?
Right, okay. So, depends what A, B and C is. You know, if A is walk on, B is close the guns, C is pull the trigger, then yeah, great. If you're telling yourself what you've got to do, what you've got to see as you're moving the gun, it's not the right thing at all. All you've got to do is work it back the other way. Where do I want to pull the trigger? I'm going to pull the trigger at that point, and that's the only thing you've got to worry about. Look at the target and pull the trigger at that point. When the gun passes that point, that's it. See what happens. You'd be surprised.
I have that problem. Yeah, and I think with sporting it can get a little bit more involved because there's going to be more variables to come into play, but the similarities are there. You've got to have... but it's also the same in sporting. If you've never seen that bird before, your first shot is a downright, out-and-out guess.
Yeah, but how often do you see someone go into the stand at sporting, smoke the first pair, and never touch another one?
Yeah, but then you get the total flip side of it. They miss it a foot behind 4 times.
Yeah, but mainly, you know, what I find is they smoke the first pair because they shot what they saw. The next ones, they're trying to see what they think they saw.
Yeah, then the gun slows down or speeds up.
Everything's wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Question for Alan as a skeet shooter. Where is your sight point for high 1? So I think what they're going to say is how detached from the barrel are you?
About 2 inches above the muzzle.
So you're just looking out
2 inches two inches above the muzzle.
Yeah, you're just going to watch it go. I don't suppose you move much, do you? Just let it run into the gun?
Yeah, if you look at the target just above the gun, whatever the target does, the gun's going to move that little bit anyway. It's just that much. You don't need lots of movement.
Just gonna mirror move into.
At the end of the day, the target's actually climbing. On a good day, that target's climbing. So it's not. You can wait a long time for it to come to you.
For these people that are watching, mate, if they're interested in skeet lessons, how do they contact you?
Either go through the website shootinginstructor.com, or they can email me on alanwarren1@hotmail.com. That's ALLEN WARREN and the figure 1, alanwarren1@hotmail.com.
Superb. So I know we've got plenty of skeet shooters on tonight. There was another question I was going to have for you. Okay, yeah, that's another question from Jamaica. So peg 2. Let's just. I'm gonna hazard the guess that the guess is the same for every peg. So I'm just going to pick 2. We've got a single high, we've got a single low, and we've got a double.
Yeah.
How many feet positions?
2.
For what?
One for the high bird, one for the low bird. So if you shoot the single high, you stand where you do for the high bird, and then when you shoot the single low bird, you only got to move about 6 inches, not a lot. And then when you shoot your double, you come back to where you were for the high single, because both targets are going to be in this half now.
So you stand in one position for the high bird, one position for the low bird, and back to your position for the high bird for the pair.
For the pair, exactly that. And the same thing. That works all the way around.
Yeah, I would have thought that your answer would have been the same on all of the pegs, but that question was asked from a guy in Jamaica that's just started into his journey and wanted to know, because I think he's been told by an instructor that he needs 3, single, and a new position for the pair.
Yeah, I've seen some strange things out there. They get their lovely footwork for the high bird, particularly on 4, actually. They get feet right for the high bird, they turn around for the low bird, and then for some reason they stand dead square on with both toes up against the front of the slab for the double. How does that work? And all you see then is the shoulders rocking like this. Yeah. There's no rotation, it's just left and right.
Moving over.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that I've seen some of the best skeet shooters in America shoot, and Bender and Wayne and Larry Wu and all of the big guys.
Yeah.
Is it simply weather conditions that they hammer those big numbers?
I think that's probably a factor. Also, a NASA target is a little bit quicker. It's a few yards quicker. I think it's 60 yards instead of 50 to 52. So you're going to get a better flight on the first half of its flight. Certainly, it's less wind affected.
Yeah.
So that probably has a bigger effect, if you're honest. And because at the end of the day, no matter what speed it is, you still got to hit the damn things. So
I'd rather give something 2.5 foot than 1 foot and know it's going to hold that line.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a case of there's no such thing as an accidental champion. All those guys have done an awful lot of work to be able to hit those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched Todd and Wayne, and you just think, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I remember watching a shoot-off in the San Antonio shooting arena, and they went from 217 shooters on 200 straight in the 12-gauge event. Yeah, they got them down to 11, and 11 shooters walked into the arena. Yeah, and 10 of them walked in with 50 shells.
Yeah,
and here comes Wayne with a trolley jack with 1,000 on.
Yeah, well, psychologically that's done that. Hasn't it?
Yeah, and he's just put.
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere.
He pulled these 1,000 shells in, and everyone's like, "What's he doing?" He's like, "You're going to need more than 50," and he did. He just worked them over in that one. It was like 50. You're gonna need a lot more than 50 to get through this.
I did that once.
Really?
I walked on the range, put a slab on the table to shoot off. Yeah, I walked back off the range with 225. Wishing I wasn't looking such a dick. Yeah.
Hold point for high 2 and look point for high 2.
Again, that first third, the gun Is this for English skeet or for American skeet?
This will be American skeet, mate.
American skeet. Again, if you work on the whole point parallel to the face of the trap house.
Right.
And literally parallel, not what you think is parallel.
So if this is the wall, you're going to be here.
Yes, exactly that. It literally is. If that's the face of the trap house, normally when you look at the face of the trap house, it's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a gun comes in here. So it's actually the same thing. It's got to be that. They've got to be parallel.
Like train tracks.
Yes, exactly that. And then in terms of looking, a lot comes down to how good your eyesight is, how quick you can pick a target up. But normally, if you can, I would say look probably a third of the way up to halfway back, no more. Right. Otherwise, you get too separated from the gun.
Why does bender weight over your front foot look awful? Why does it work?
Because he's been doing it for 150 years.
It is difficult. It is difficult to explain it.
I mean, I in terms of gun movement, I shoot the same way as Bender does. I just don't stand like Todd. You know?
I mean, I think that all goes back to Matt Dripe, doesn't it?
Oh, Matt Dripe was unbelievable. I mean, he used to crouch down. He wasn't so much weight over one foot.
No, he was arse on the floor.
His arse was on the floor, literally. Funny enough, I was showing some videos of him the other day.
Yeah.
Exactly that. I mean, you'd have to wonder how he ever hit what he did.
But I think they just sort of evolved that can't be right and this can't be right, and I just think Todd ended up somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, when Todd actually shoots quite aggressive.
Yeah. So
he doesn't use lots of movement. It's minimal movement. And standing like that forces you to shoot aggressively. But we can't all stand like that. I mean, I can't stand like that now. My knees hurt too much.
Yeah, when I've seen Todd miss, which is very rare, it's always the second bird on 4 because he stands back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
he's come up.
Yeah, he's come up out the gun and everything's come up.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah, that can happen, yeah.
I've seen that a couple of times.
And some of that's because they've run out of movement.
Yeah, and they just come up.
Know? And the trouble is, when you get that far crouched over, you know, you're no longer turning like this. You're actually trying to rotate on the legs. And there's only so much movement you've got at that angle. So you've almost got to commit to a shot. Otherwise, you're running into problems.
Okay. Last couple of questions. There's one from Moya here, from Hoys and Waco. We've spoke about it like we're experts. What's the difference between American skeet and British skeet? Just talk through the differences, mate.
American skeet is nearly all singles. That's going to go down well. I mean, American skeet, you'll have 4 targets on station 1 and 2. So 2 singles, high, low, single, and then a double. Station 3, station 4, station 5 is just 2 singles. And then 6 and 7, you got 4 targets again, 2 singles and a double.
And you shoot 8.
Americans. And station 8, of course, station 8 you can shoot gun up, pre-mounted.
English
skeet, English skeet is the same. 4 targets on 1 and 2, 6 and 7, 2 singles on 3 and 5. But for station 4, you shoot the 2 singles, and then your choice of which way round you shoot the double on station 4. So you get 2 singles and a double.
And they can also shoot 32 grams.
The Americans can shoot 32 gram. Yeah, we don't get that luxury.
Yeah, because when Wayne was at his best, he used to change chokes on every peg. Yeah,
we're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, he'd change choke on peg. Have you ever shot a Vostok? Yeah, I've shot a Vostok. Yeah. I take it Alan has. He's nearly as old as him.
I've shot them. I mean, fantastic quality gun. In fact, interestingly, the Russians call them Baikals.
Yeah, weird.
That was interesting. But
Joe Neville used to shoot one very well, didn't he?
That's right. But again, the old ones with the retro, what they call the Chula choke one, where the barrels used to swage out. Again, designed for 32 gram fibre to give you a long shot string.
Yeah,
they don't work. The Chula choke does not work with 24 gram.
Yeah.
You know, you start scratching. Again, it's okay 1 and 2, 6 and 7, but when you get out 3, 4, 5, you start losing pattern.
When you're talking, here's a good question. So you're talking holding flat to the wall as such of the house. The question has just come in. Are you level with the bottom of the window with your height, or does that change?
It's where I would visualise the flight line to be.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily the window, because the high bird climbs a little bit, doesn't it?
It is climbing slightly, yeah. The most important thing is it's not too high. If the target goes through the gun is too high, and then you lose sight of the target.
You can go up a lot easier than you can come down.
100%. It's much easier to come up into a target than it is to try and get down on one.
Last question again is, we missed this earlier on with the breakup. What length barrels do you shoot?
30-inch.
30-inch. There you go, mate. That's an hour and a half we've just blasted on Skeet.
Christ.
So, mate, I appreciate you coming on.
No, pleasure.
We hit some massive numbers. We had 156 people on at one point, so they must have enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, mate. Thanks for sharing your knowledge.
No, pleasure, anytime.
Stay safe, pal, and I'll catch up with you when this